Okay, mic's coming up, everything's live. Sorry guys, this has been a day. So anyway, everything got louder in everybody's ears. Sorry about that. So yeah, this has been a day and a half. I got in from work late, and so didn't have time to prepare like I usually would. Scurrying around at the last minute. This is what 8 256 port routers. So today's work was relatively simple, and I really wasn't doing much of it, but I had to supervise it all, and so things don't look good tonight. Things sound out of whack. It's gonna be one of those nights, but what the heck. I liked playing the piano. I haven't played piano, just a piano sound, in a long time, so I thought I'd try that tonight. A few things to talk about now that things are working correctly. Let's see what we got here. I have a list. Maybe even the thing will remember where it is. Okay, here we go. So, I have some notes to myself, and I don't know how many of them. Oh, thank you, Jeff. Only one piano, yeah. So let's see. A few things that came up over the last couple of days. I mean, we were last here on Friday. So let's see. Let's actually douse that extra mic. I've changed a bunch of things. I had after Friday night. I was not. After Friday night, I was a little frustrated with a few things. Mostly that I kept getting tangled up in my in-ear monitor cable because it was all too short. So I spent most of the weekend trying to get in-ear monitors to work correctly. I'm using a wireless in-ear monitor. I couldn't get it to sound right. It's finally sounding right. So anyway, let's see. Things I want to try and get onto tonight. We'll get to as many of them as we can. I want to follow up a little bit on the multipoly discussion from Friday. There were a couple of things I missed to talk about, and at the moment I can't remember what they are. So hopefully by the time we circle back around to that, I'll remember. Let's see. We'll talk about some things that I was going to buy that I'm probably not going to buy. Came up in chat today a little bit about PTZ cameras, so we'll talk about that. We have and a couple pieces of software to talk about. So that'll pretty much be the rundown. In the mix for sounds tonight, in the opening jam. Let's see, we'll go over to that. I'm using Artorias Piano V3 was the piano, specifically the live upright patch from the Jazz upright piano, which sounded nice. That's run a little bit through a little bit of the tape 201, and then we've got some stuff coming off the Polybrute and a few things coming off of the Wave State. There's some little stuff in the background, and then a couple of parts from Friday night coming off the multipoly. So that's the jam. That's what's in the jam. So let's see. Let's go back to talking about a little bit about. We can actually we'll do the decided. BF from FreeVest, grab ZYKLOPs. Okay, good. So passes 809 MIDI CCs. Jeez. Okay, that's a lot. So ZYKLOP is actually one of the things that is on the agenda for tonight. So we'll take a look at that in conjunction with another piece of software. Some of you may have noticed at the beginning that we've got a little that this is listed as a sponsored video, and I'm doing that just to be careful about a thing. I don't know that this is really sponsored, but we will be talking about a piece of software that I got sent to me for free to talk about on the show, or use or something. So we'll talk about that a little bit too. Say hi to everybody, Paul. Good to see you. And Jeff and CVIO. It looks like a new visitor tonight coming. You're new to the chat, visiting the channel, and I'm having a rough night. That leaves a great impression. But anyway, thanks for coming by, everybody who's here so far, and I'm sure we'll have some more join in later. At least I hope. So I am going to, let's see if I can remember where this is supposed to be. Point the camera over at the multipoly. Say it's been one of those days. Hey, I got it pointing at the multipoly where I want it, and I got both of them to come up. Let's turn the background sounds down a little bit, although they are coming off the multipoly, so we'll just leave them go. So in the during the stream on Friday, and in fooling around on Saturday and Sunday with the multipoly, I did notice a couple little quirks that I thought might be important to talk about, or that people might be interested to know about. The multipoly does respond to polyphonic aftertouch, and it does so quite well. It's actually pretty easy to set up. It works well. The tricky bit is that if you assign a bunch of things like try to set up a macro on the mod knobs and try and send polyphonic aftertouch to that, it does not work the way you would expect. So let's actually let me. That's bugs we used to call features. I don't necessarily. Hey, Wabbit, welcome. Harmonic Sonics, welcome. Good to see you. So I don't know that this is necessarily a bug. It's just what I'm going to call an operational quirk. And the deal is, it's actually kind of cool. Once you know about it and understand what's going to be going on with it, it's actually kind of a cool feature. Like one that was implemented in the version 3 firmware for the Polybrutes. And that is, so the Polybrute does not respond to polyphonic aftertouch at all, supposedly. However, you can put the Polybrute into, well, and so that's part of it, Jeff. But in the Polybrute, if you set it up in a certain way, it will respond to individual aftertouch for the last note played. So that lets you lay down a drone or chord or something in your left hand and play a lead over it and have aftertouch on just the lead part that you're playing. So which is kind of cool. That's how the mod knobs respond to poly aftertouch on the multipoly. And for about 4 hours, that drove me crazy because it's not documented anywhere. Once I got the hang of it and figured out what was going on and reset my modulations up as the multipoly expected, the poly aftertouch works beautifully, does all the things you expect it to do in a way you might expect it to do it. One of the reasons that's not necessarily clear too is that the way that the modulation matrix works on the multipoly, and what we can do, let's jump over to the PC, and I'll try and see if I can do this without introducing the other problem that I've been having the last few days. But you know, what the heck, we do this for science. So let's jump into the multipoly editor so I can show you what's going on. And come on, there we go. So let's see, I have to take the chat down to see this. So let's make that go away. And so if you want to modulate something, and most everything can be modulated, you simply click on the control that you want to modulate, and let's say we want to modulate in this pad. Let's say we're going to set something up on oscillator 4, and this may get some odd results, and we'll turn oscillator 1 off. And let's say we're just going to do a detune saw, and let's get over to the correct channel with the controller. Okay, so let's see, I got some effects turned on this. We'll turn those off for now. Okay, and of course the wireless monitor in-ear thing is giving me grief because of the janky connections I had to make it work. And then that was what I was running around trying to stuff into my pocket while I was getting started, because I couldn't get the belt clip to work. And this connector is just, well, you can't see it. I've got this janky adapter that I had to use to make everything work, and it's making noises. But anyway, let's set this on the table for now. So now I'm back to where I was Friday night with the too short cable. But anyway, so let's say we want to, let's see, we'll modulate the detune level on the saw. Yeah, that'll work. So we'll just click on there. We get this little thing where we can now add a modulator. And if I go to controllers, I could say poly aftertouch. So now, if I play this, it's a little loud. Anyway, I have to set up the amount of it that I want it to do, and that up. And let's go to, doesn't matter. So we do that, and actually I do want to do one thing. Let me get here. We'll cover a little bit of the PTZ camera action. Wrong one. There was a question or discussion on the Discord today too about what's the deal about PTZ cameras. So I'll show this is the kind of thing we were talking about on the Harmonic Sonics. Good to see you. I did see you already. The question came up was, why would you need a PTZ camera? And this actually illustrates it, because I'm going to move the camera from over there around here so that you can see what I'm doing on the keyboard. And I'm playing on the hey Will, welcome. So I'm going to be playing on the Control S, because that's the keyboard that I have with Poly Aftertouch. And let's see, I think I have a closer shot if I press the right button. Yeah, there we go. And we'll tilt it down a little bit. I'll try to. There we go. All right, so that covers the PTZ discussion. That's why I needed PTZ. Now I've got two of them. So, and we'll show the second and third shots from that too. So with Poly Aftertouch, so the Poly Aftertouch Harmonic Sonics, this is the Native Instruments Control S 49 Mark III. It's got a FETAR key bed with Poly Aftertouch. I can't remember the exact model, but that's it plays beautifully. So let me turn this down just a little bit so I don't blow your ears out. It's still loud. And I don't know if that was a great control to modulate or not, or if we're not modulating enough. Sometimes, picking the one to modulate, I'm not still fully familiar with everything on the multipoly. Yeah, it doesn't do a whole lot. So let's choose something else to do. We'll take that away. Let me bring the computer back up full screen. Let's see. I would have thought detune would have made more noise. Well, let's run that through filter B. Bring up filter B. And I got to take the chat down again so I can see what I'm doing. And wait, there we go. So here we'll take poly aftertouch and put to filter cutoff a fair chunk. Close that down. All right. I'll open it up a little bit. So what you're going to hear is you'll hear the I'm playing a G chord first and fifth, and so I'll rock back and forth with pressure between the two. And you can do that with as many notes as you can hold down. So. Okay, so that's how that works. That's how one would expect for polyphonic aftertouch to respond. Now, the trick that what I was trying to do was I was trying to set up a bunch of things on a knob and then control that knob with poly aftertouch. So let's go ahead and let me slide. I'll just slide it over this time. We'll take that off. I'll go into this knob. Now this knob isn't currently controlling anything. So what I'm going to do is I will go to this cutoff, and I'm going to add as a modulation source a mod knob 1. Crank that up. So now, let's see. We do that. I'm looking at the wrong thing. So now we'll look back over at, and here we go with another PTZ move. Or try to. There we go. I don't have those set up on the shot box yet. That's coming. So now, if I come over here and I play this same thing, and see here I'm running out of cable because my wireless is not where it belongs. So now I'll play that same, open up the other mic. Okay, so now I'll play that same basic thing. And let's see. So I'll control that with the knob because I don't have the aftertouch set up for that yet. So now using the mod knob 1. I can control that filter cutoff. So the next thing to set up then is to come back and do the aftertouch to the mod knob. So grab that, plus source becomes controller, poly aftertouch, and we'll turn that up. So now we'll go back to playing this from the, we're going to go back to playing this from the control S. And I'm on the wrong thing because I moved things around. So back to here. And you can't see what I'm doing, so let's go back to over here and go back to that. And we'll tilt down again once it lands. So now I'm playing this. And as long as I'm doing this, I've got control of one note of aftertouch. I know it's hard to see. I wonder if I can get that better from the other camera. Let's see. Probably not, but we'll see. Yeah, sort of. Okay, so the mic is in the way. Let's kind of tilt that over there. And so you can see now, if I press on, so you can sort of see I'll hit this D5 chord. The note that went down last was the D. So if I press harder on that, you hear the filter open up. If I press harder on the A, which was the first key to go down, I got nothing. So that's kind of is good, and it's kind of a pain at the same time, because I can lay down this pad down here, and then I can play in my right hand. I can play a lead line. Kind of weird, yep, I agree, but it's the same. It's the same action that Arturia used. Eternian. It's the same kind of thing that Arturia used in the Polybrute to fake poly aftertouch on the Polybrute. Because they could sense the last key that you hit and use that to trigger aftertouch. If they can do that, I don't know why they can't do full poly aftertouch, but that's the way that goes. Anyway, so that's a quirk, but once you know about it, you can work with it. There also is some quirkiness. I can only say that adding the multipoly in. I'm running the multipoly on MIDI on USB because the librarian app needs to communicate over USB. Since having added the multipoly over USB, I'm having all kinds of weird USB issues. When I open up a formerly working project, it doesn't see Ableton Live does not initially see the Control S anymore, and it doesn't see the multipoly. Other stuff mostly works. And so what I'm wondering is if Windows has historically had an issue when you try and run more than 10 MIDI USB devices. And specifically, one of the issues that it has, if you plug something into a port, it logs in a well, this gets down into Windows. The way it just says there's Windows 10 and earlier specifically had an issue that it only supported 10 MIDI devices. If you plugged something into a port, a MIDI device into a port, it would register that and reserve that port. If you plugged that same thing into another MIDI port, it then took up another slot. I think it was October of last year, or maybe October of the year before, I can't remember which. They came out with a new version of their MIDI stack, and that supports a virtually unlimited number of USB MIDI devices. The problem is that a lot of devices aren't written to use that stack. KORG is notoriously slow about getting their MIDI life updated. Although, these being all the multipoly, the wave state, the opsix all being, relatively modern devices, I would have thought that they would be on top of it, but obviously they're not. And I would have thought that I would have thought that Native Instruments with the Control S would have been on top of it, but I don't know what's going on. And so, you know, the fix is to go into the system registry and basically wipe out the MIDI, the old style MIDI stack. No, this is just a, it's just a, you know, Microsoft botched USB MIDI. And the fix is that the fix doesn't work unless everyone is up to date with the way they're addressing MIDI the Microsoft way. Class compliant or not doesn't matter. The deal though is that in order for so the multipoly is class compliant, but they're using some other stuff to get the app to communicate, and that's legacy code. So that's, you know, that's probably where that's coming from. I'm sure that the Polybrute and the Take 5 are old enough that they're not on the new MIDI stack. The Keylab 49 is not on the new MIDI stack, and I know that the opsix and the Wavestate original generation are not. So I've got a bunch of stuff here that's, you know, I'm using USB MIDI for reasons, you know, because their apps require it. And, you know, so I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 devices, maybe 10 that are MIDI, 9 devices, maybe 10 that are MIDI, and I'm sure that at least one of them has been plugged into more than one port on the computer. So yeah, you would think that, Jeff, but this is Microsoft, and they do things their way, you know, whether it's correct or not. And you know, Microsoft, unlike Apple, just never really thinks about. They don't think the same way as Apple and some other manufacturers do. So, you know, it's a thing. And who knows? Maybe I'll make a change. I hate that I've just upgraded the heck out of this computer, and you know, I've got issues. But you know, and I also don't know if having things like the Stream Deck, because the Stream Deck is, you know, there's some MIDI stuff going on with it. So, you know, and then I got camera controllers on USB. So there's so much stuff flying around the USB buses on this machine right now, and I'm sure that I got things, you know, some things in there twice. So if I go into the registry, wipe all the USB stacks, and then restart the machine, bring everything up, everything should assign to ports, and you don't need to more than Control Excel. Yeah. Or yeah, but so you know, I'll grouse at Microsoft today because they've been part of one of the banes of my existence. For the better part of the morning, a fair number of business users could not access Outlook email. It was just plain down. You know, it's like, how am I supposed to do business if I can't communicate with customers in email? You know, so they did finally get it working about 3 o'clock this afternoon our time. Exactly, Jeff. That's the old stack. So that's the old stack. The new, and then so if you look in the registry, you got MIDI 0, and there's some unidentifiable code that tells it what device that actually is. And I've done it's been a long time since I've done the registry hack, so I'll have to look it up again to do it. So that's the old stack, and that's the Windows XP through Windows 10 stack. In late Windows 10 and then Windows 11, they've got a much larger pool. I think they can go up to 100 or something like that. So, and again, it gets down to manufacturers have to write their firmware to tell Windows which stack they want to use. And older stuff just doesn't use the new stack. So and I'm sure that's where we're looking at, and I'll just clean it up and it should be fine again. I ran into this years ago dealing with a KORG issue. This is part of my love-hate relationship with KORG, because KORG has never had great Windows drivers anyway. And I was trying to get I had a KORG PS60, and I added it to my system, and of course Windows wouldn't recognize it because I'd already had 10 other MIDI devices on there. Oh no, I plugged something else in twice, and so the slot was reserved and taken. And after a huge amount of time and finally getting someone from KORG on the phone, actually getting someone from KORG on the phone, he said, "Oh yeah, this is a thing, and this is how we fix it, and I'll walk you through it if you want." But as soon as he told me what was going on, I was like, "Okay, I know how to fix it." I just went in and did it. So anyway, I'll get it squared away, and I'll be happy. It'll just growing pains. Either that, or I won't be happy, and I'll do something about it. So I still don't remember the items that I missed in my initial impressions video. There were some cool things that I came up with, though. The multipoly is really a very cool synthesizer. It's beautifully designed, and just the architecture is one of the things that I will say that I don't know if I said this Friday night or not, but this is what the Gaia 2 should have been. Plain and simple. The architecture in this thing is just what it's exactly what it should have been. I'll have to go look for that video, for Robin's video, Jeff. That'd be interesting. Hey Hans, welcome. How are you tonight? We were just discussing the joys of USB MIDI in Windows, but we're going to move on from that to the next topic of discussion, and we're going to move on that because Windows MIDI just makes me angry. So let's see something here real quick. What is that camera looking like? Okay, I'm going to make the camera look back at the multipoly because the multipoly makes me happy. Let's see. That's shot 9. And I'll go back to that. Yeah, we're getting there. Yay! Zoom. There it is. Even though that's not what I'm going to talk about right this minute. But I like looking at the multipoly, kind of thing. So anyway, let's see. Crazy Wabbit has shared a video on the Discord, I see. Crazy Wabbit is multitasking. Good for you. So let's see. Next up. So I've been talking about future purchase plans against that multipoly Hans is just fantastic. In fact, yeah, it is I think better than I anticipated. It's certainly all the fun in the world, so it's definitely worth the price of admission as far as I'm concerned. Now it is a digital synth, no two ways around it. You know, it's analog modeling, but you know, I'm fine with that. I think there's an excellent space for that. Well, yeah, and I think we talked about that elsewhere, Hans. Yeah, I don't know, like, well, what it's doing now. I mean, right this minute, it is MIDI is driving 2 of the layers in there, and 12 donuts. That's the important part. Where'd you get the donuts? I don't care about the little instrument, but I want to know where the donuts came from. So it's, you know, the one thing that none of the videos have talked about is the fact that the thing is 4-part multitimbral. Oh, Roger is selling donuts along with little instruments. That's cool. Hey, Luke, welcome. So Hans, right now, let's see. Let's make the wave state go away. And we'll make Polybrute go away. So now you're hearing the drums, which are coming off of, they're coming out of contact. And no, I'm not making the pants go away. Although it's been a long day today in pants. So right now you're hearing 2 separate layers from the multipoly under MIDI control coming out of the sequencer. And now I will play another layer. So right now we've got 3 of the 4 polyphonic layers going. Everybody needs a multipoly, CV. Everybody. And every, you know, the more I play with it, the more I play around with it, the more it, the more that more I find to like about it. Everybody needs a BTZ too. That's right. At least one. At least one. And you've seen me use both of them tonight. You know, I don't usually have both of them going around in circles. Yeah, so I've got the new one set up. It's not really in its final resting place, and that sale that I got it on it's no longer on that sale. So it's it now lists on the website at $7.49, and if you once you put it in the cart, right now it's going for $5.49 or something like that. So yeah, so you know, I've got 2 multitimbral polys. I've got the multipoly, and then I've got the wave state, because the wave state is also can also be 4-part multipoly. That's one of those, when I said that, when I've talked about the DNA that of the previous synths in this series that have gone into the multipoly, that's one of the things. And you know, so it's only 4-part multipoly, but you know, honestly, do you really need a whole lot more about that? Yeah, it works exactly the same way too. So I can show you real quick how that works. Boom. Let's bring this guy in. So in order to tell it where a layer is getting its MIDI from, and this works exactly the same way on the wave state, right down to being in the pretty much the same panel. So when you go into the keyboard and setup panel, this particular panel is per layer, and so we've got, you know, performance is doing, you know, what all these things do, but right here where you get into the layer setup, that's particular per layer. So right now we are on layer C. I don't want to mess with layer C, so we'll go over to layer D, and now I can tell that the MIDI is getting it's getting MIDI from the layer, and I choose the MIDI channel. I can also tell it to take the global MIDI, and it's going to be on whatever the global MIDI channel that I have set up for the instrument is, which in my case is channel 1. Because of the MIDI routing within Ableton Live, I run everything's global channels on MIDI 1, and I just, that way I don't have to make any changes to things. The days of new MIDI devices coming up on channel 3 are over, apparently. So anyway, in this case, I've got layer A is listening to the layer MIDI on MIDI channel 2. Layer B is listening layer on MIDI channel 3. Layer C is taking the global MIDI on channel 1. And I could set that to say, also just as easily say layer MIDI 1, but that way I know some sort of sound is going to come out of it when I play it. So that's, and so like I said, the wave state works the same way. What I don't know, and if someone's got a mod wave, I don't know if the mod wave can be 2-part multitimbral. I know that the King KORG NEO can be 2-part multitimbral. And I was watching a few videos on the train in and out of DC today. I was watching a few videos about that, and the multipoly really has the DNA of everything that's come before. Hey, Sam. Hey, there he is. Everyone's in. Oh my gosh, here they come. So the multipoly really has in its DNA everything, parts of everything except the in this line except the opsix. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I better get a hold of my socks because here they come. Awesome. So, just everything. Trains. Oh man, trains today. At least my luck with trains was not as bad as Ben's was. So anyway, so that's just one of the things is all of these KORG Raspberry Pi based synths have just this. I am amazed at how much the KORG engineers get out of these things and how well they perform and how good they sound. And all the things that they can do. And looking at some of the videos, and Luke's gonna shake his head and say no, but there are some really neat things that the King KORG NEO can do. And I need to find out if that poor Chromebook is going to die pretty soon. I can tell. That flash that you see every once in a while is the video output from the King KORG NEO, or from the Chromebook with doing the chat. So it's it's a what I haven't had time to figure out yet or look at yet is there's one thing that is kind of neat, and hey Paul, and the where do I want to go here? The chat's fun. I need to find out. One of the things that the King KORG NEO I saw demonstrated is the ability to throw an arpeggiator on one layer and then play something else on the other layer. I suspect that the arpeggiator here can be directed at one layer instead of all the layers, because it's a as we discussed Friday night, it is a global arpeggiator. You can kind of fake arpeggiation using the layer sequencers, but I'm not sure that it's and I was fooling with that the other day. I got some pretty cool results with that. And just so you know, we don't need no stinking badges. That's it. No badges. So So anyway, where were we? I was getting into some... Let's see, we've talked that. I was getting into things that I likely will not be buying. That... Jeez. So you know, you're playing what you got your ESQ1 going. That's a wonderful instrument. You know, all of those early Ensoniqs were just wonderful instruments. They God. Oh, you got your SD1. That so you know, I had the version 2 of the VFX SD, which was the immediate predecessor to the SD1. And those are just fantastic instruments. And I every once in a while I see a VFX SD version 2 come up for sale, and I'm tempted. But I was talking to my wife the other night, and the one that I would really be most interested in is an SQ80, but I don't need to buy an SQ80 because I've got the Arturia version of it, which is, you know, every bit as good. God, you know, I haven't touched a Fismo, Paul, since they introduced. I played one down at Bill's Music House, and thought it was neat, but it was not. Well, some part of me saw the hey, SOR, welcome. Welcome to the whole Symptoms of Reality gang. I appreciate you guys coming by. To me, I don't want one that's broken. I don't want to try and fix something like that. You know, just not not what I want to do anymore. I just want to buy things and play. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate it. And you know what? That's a good reminder for me to do that. And also visit my website, GarenM.net. There's stuff there. So anyway, I'm gonna try and get back on track. You guys keep distracting me. So I had been talking that I wanted to try and, you know, do something that would be getting something that you know, the last buy before we get hit too badly with tariffs, and because you know, everything we want comes from overseas, and much of it comes out of China. So you know, next year is going to be interesting in that regard to see how things go. And so I had a few things on the shopping list, and you know, things like, so the tracker comes, the tracker and the the tracker and the synth do not come out. Well, I'm not even sure where they're actually made. Hang on. It'll say on the device where a tracker's made. Let's see. So the tracker, the poly stuff is made in Poland. So that won't get the, you know, crazy 60% tariffs or whatever they're going to be. But there's going to be tariffs, and everything's going up. So things that had been on my list were the poly synth, and the Ableton Move, and I had trackers made in Poland. At least that's what it said. Did I say Poland? Whatever it said on the bottom of the unit. Let's see. I've forgotten that fast. It's been one of those days. Yep, made in Poland. It's close to Germany, right? Yep, there it is. You know, because I thought, and after seeing there's a couple of videos. You guys ain't right. That's all there is to it. You guys just aren't right. Some of the stuff that I'd seen, I had thought that synth and tracker would make a fantastic pair, and I saw some videos where people were doing it. In fact, Jervis was doing it last night. So. You drink every time Fred laughs. All right, I guess I gotta do something here so that it says, you know, I got the AKA Fred graphic that comes up every once in a while. So, God, you gotta drive me to drink. I'll have to come up with a symbol. So anyway, I've kind of decided that at this point I'm not going to buy a poly and synth. There are too many quirks beyond quirk, and I keep learning that see you, Tracker Jack. Have a great evening or morning, because you're into morning already. Hopefully I'll see you there and see you in person in May. We'll see. So the plug. This is for those of you who saw me ranting and raving on the Synth Seeker Discord the other day about stuff not working. This is the janky adapter that I had to use to make headphones work with my wireless IEM receiver, because I got tired of getting strangled every time I moved around Friday night to move from this this position over to there, and I know that that's going to be something I need to do going forward. So I got the wireless IEMs set up. They're now racked up. Nope. God. Excuse me. The other thing is I keep doing things and then discovering I'm not a pad player. You know, I try and use, you know, pad devices and you know, like the launch pad, and I don't get along with them. So as much as I like the idea of the Move for something portable that I can take around, I just or the poly and synth, I just don't think they're not going to be me. They're not going to work well for me to play, and so it's, you know, $500-ish a piece that I don't need to spend, or even, you know, $500 on one that I need to spend and then not really enjoy it. So that's yes, indeed. Well done, guys. I'm also reading on the. I've also got, you know, the Discord things come up here on my phone. So they're good for all kinds of things, and so there are things that I do like pads for. You know, when I was playing, you know, weekly in the band, I had my rig was a Korg Kronos 2 and a Mini Lab Mark II, and I used Mini Lab for the very rare, this little lines where I didn't have enough hands or enough places to play on the Korg, and I needed like just a third thing that I could just run and grab for a second. So I'd play that there. I also used it for the pads. I loved to use for one-shots and effects. So if we were doing things like I would play some percussion stuff for some songs on the pads, or special effect roll-ins and that kind of thing I would do on the pads. It was fantastic for that. So for that kind of stuff, pads are great. If I ever get back to doing that kind of stuff again, I've got a Keylab 49. It's got 16 pads on it. And so, I've got all the pads that I need for that kind of thing. Beyond that, I don't finger drum. I'm lousy at it. And I don't do well playing pads. I just don't. So that's why, I'm not going to spend that 500-ish bucks on either of those things, because they're to me they're not very useful as an instrument. They are fantastic for clip launch, and I've got a Launchpad Pro Mark III up there that I'll probably bring out eventually for clip launching and stuff like that. But that'll be another USB MIDI device that has to get glommed into the system somehow. Actually, I guess I could use its MIDI ports for that. Just come out MIDI. But if you plug it in USB, it just shows up in Ableton Live. And then the other thing I decided not to buy. I have for years wanted a Novation Ultranova, and I had a line on one for a little over $300, and in pretty good shape. The only thing that I knew that might be iffy about it was the pitch and mod wheel knobs were a little sticky. That's relatively easy to deal with. You just use the appropriate cleaning product on it and it goes away. But I decided, I have now two decent, virtual analog modeling, whatever you want to call it, synths. I don't know that I need another one. So that went off the table. And I thought, well, great, now I got money I don't have to spend. But I spend dollars for dedicated VST MIDI controller Sound Force. And I'm not familiar. What are they? Oh, right. I know what you're talking about. I remember now what you're talking about. We've talked about those before. Maybe. But so one of the things that I can do, I can kind of sort of build a custom MIDI controller using the S49. So if I'm not, if I'm using like I very rarely use the Jupiter 8V, and so I jump around between the soft synths. So having a dedicated, I'd end up with six of those controllers. I don't have budget for that, especially when lips. If anyone knows what the lips thing is all about, and it's not the Rolling Stones, but I'll give you, if you can guess what these lips are about, I'll give you a big smile anyway. So they're from a fun period in my past, so to speak. Yes, absolutely. That's it, Luke. That's it. a toast. That's what you get. You get a toast. If I had a piece of toast made, I'd have thrown it at the camera for you. Lips Incorporated. Nope, not that one. That's not from the funky town. Big inflatable lips don't give me a whole lot of pleasure. Lots of people love big red lips. It's not just a black thing. Anticipation. Rocky Horror. I'll tell you, Rocky Horror still plays regularly all over the place. And then some places have big deals about doing Rocky Horror nights. I haven't been to see Rocky Horror in a theater in years. I do have my own copy of it on DVD. Every once in a while I pull it out every once in a while. Oh my. I just haven't been out to the theater. I'm a ton of fun though. Let's see. I was going in a direction. I lost track of that. There's still stuff on the list to talk about. So, we talked about my not liking pad controllers. So, yeah, I know what you meant there. I'm not Native Instruments fun. Well, I was into audience participation in a big way. There are certain lines that are said in the audience participation. There are a couple of them that I actually started. There's a whole series of lines about the professor's yellow teeth that suddenly become white, shiny white. In the movie, and I made up a whole bunch of lines about that, and they still get used apparently. Yay me! It's a fun movie. It really is a fun movie, and going with a bunch of friends who are into it is a lot of fun, especially if you go into see it at some place where they do the whole thing. Because there are a number of theaters where, as part of the non-bankable fame, I've got a few of those claims to fame, or infamy, or something like that. Going to a theater where they've got people who are doing the stage show as part of in front of the movie, and then interacting with the folks in the crowd, that is a lot of fun. TMI. TMI. So I had to put up the well, actually it's a little out of order. Let's hit this stuff in order because I did this in order, so it kind of builds. We talked about the PTZ cameras, and I don't know if I haven't seen was it Quasar or whatever in the chat. Oh, that's awesome, Sam. I love it. It is a lot of fun. Doing the whole thing is a lot of fun. So let's see. Okay, Luke. Hope you feel better. Hope you get that. That's man. I tell you, I know how miserable that is. From my fun. I hope that they're able to get you squared away without having to do what I had to do. Though in the end, it has been, it's been worth it. What I had to go through. But anyway, hope you feel better. Hope they don't have to cut you open and repair you. I make you the second bionic neck man in this crowd. So, okay, I am going to, let's see, jump back to the computer for this. We'll do the float version. We're going to close the editor. See you, Luke. Thanks for coming. And we're going to jump over to this track here. And this is, I kind of, brought this one up for Jeff in some ways. I know Jeff is not, let's call him Panda. I know Jeff has been trying to the demo version of Myth, not necessarily fitting well with him at the moment, but Dawesome did come out with a free version they call ZYKLOP, and it's half of Myth. And let me turn the multipoly down a little bit, and this I think I really liked Myth. To me, it was worth the price of admission to buy the full version, which I did. But now that they've come out, they've come out with this less expensive or the free version. I mean, this is absolutely free. It does everything that one half of Myth does, and so it's it's a lot of fun. 809 MIDI CCs to the VCV host module, which is crazy. That's I didn't even know I didn't even know you could get to CC that many CC values without having to do NRPNs. But if you can, great. That's very cool. So it's I guess it's still not a synth for everybody, but at least now that it's free, or there's a free version, you can have fun with it, fooling around, and not have to fork over the cash for something you're only going to use occasionally. You cannot find that mix on. I'm not sure what you're saying there, Paul. Yes, it is, but it is great. I mean, it's a great instrument. It does. I use it for pad kind of sounds. That's what I think it's best at. Mangling up wavetables for pad sounds. This is just the default one. I was fooling around with it on the laptop. I didn't have a chance to transfer any of the patches that I made on the laptop over, but let's see. I think the wavetables. I think the wavetables are available on this machine. So let's take a look. Make that out of the way. Scrolling the 800. Yeah, well. Oh, let's see. Where do I have these things hidden? Let's pop this up here. And, well, you know what? Actually, I'll tell you what. Let's talk about the thing that I had to put the sponsored video flag up for, since we're looking for a wavetable. The folks at geez, it's been one of these days. My mind is just completely worthless today. And I gotta remember where this thing is sitting on the hard drive. Oh, I know where to find it. Loopy-doopy-doo. Oh, no, back to here, back. I put it right here. Ocean Swift sent me over a copy of their wavetable, their new Wavetable Creator software. They sent it to me. I didn't. No money has changed hands. I got to do the whole thing now. They have no say about what I say in this. They don't even know that I'm doing a video about it. So this is their Wavetable Creator. It's a little funky. I will say that up front. And there are a lot of other wavetable creators available. You can create wavetables in any number of things. This one is, I think, kind of unique in that you have a lot of. I don't know if it can. It probably can't make trans waves. I don't know, because they're a wave unto themselves. I would be interested to find out. That could be interesting. I have to try and figure it out someday. We can talk about that offline, Paul. So this allows you to get into a lot of nerdy detail about how you're going to make your wavetable, and do some really interesting things about morphing two wavetables that you create together into a final wavetable. So at the basics, let me see if I remember how to do this. I'm going to set up a wavetable that will work in the multipoly, because you can add wavetables to the multipoly. Oh, that was one thing I did want to bring up. The instructions in the manual for how to import wavetables into the multipoly are incorrect. It does not work the way KORG says it does. This basic setup here, the way I've got it set, will work just fine in the multipoly, and pretty much anything else I've tried so far. So if trans waves are just single cycle waveforms that are chained, then that's pretty much a standard wavetable. We just need to know how many frames, and what the frame size is, and how many frames per wavetable, and then we can make the file up. Now I don't know what format it's gonna take to import in, but yes, if that's how wavetables or trans waves are made, that's the same as pretty much any other Ensoniq wavetable, and should be easy to make. Again, just figuring out the file format that the FSMO itself is going to want to read, because Ensoniq was really good at coming up with their own weirdo file formats. So if we can figure it out, we can probably make it happen. So I'm just going to work with a single wave. So we'll have for this first one, so no interaction, one wave, and we're going to use wave one only. And so what we can do is we can say we want this, and we'll do this one pretty basically. I'm just going to do the start and the end. And we're going to start with a sine wave, and we're going to end with a square wave. Okay. So one thing that, and let's see, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if this is going to work or not. This may blow up badly. Maybe 128 single cycle waveforms to morph from one to another. Yeah, like I say, all we need to know is the frame size, sample rate, and bit depth, which is probably 16 bits for that. For the FSMO, earlier stuff might be, some of the earlier stuff would be 12, but which is not a standard bit depth that we can do. So we'd have to kind of fake that. You're going to go hunting. So anyway, so I've turned all these off, and let's see if I can make this work. Now, please select an valid driver. Let's see what happens if I try and push this out the same audio driver that we're using for everything else. This will either work or blow everything up. Let's turn the volume down. Oh, it works. Cool. Did you guys hear a low frequency hum? Actually, I'll turn it up to A. So are you guys hearing an A tone right now? Anyone hearing an A? Excellent, excellent. Okay, so what we can do, one thing that's unique about this that I've not seen in any other wavetable generator is we can listen to the wavetable. So we hit play, which I've done, and now we can slide through it. Okay, so that one's kind of boring. It does its change mostly at the end. So we can make some changes in there. We can do things like change the way the shaper works. I mean, it's just detail after detail after detail after detail with this thing. And so you can get some really, really unique wavetables. So what I'm going to do for the moment, I'm just going to randomize one, and let's see what we got here. Let's try another one. Ooh. That's got some grit and grind to it. All right, so let's play with that one. Stop this. So I'm going to make, go ahead and make, I'm just going to make you can make a single wavetable, you can make a whole batch of them at once. If you make a batch, they will all be subtly different, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to give this a name, and I'm going to call it, there's a whole bunch of instructions that say you have to give it the same name as an existing wavetable, specifically for the multipoly. That's not true. So I'm going to call this Streamwave 1125 A, in case we make another one. So I'm going to make this thing. It makes the wave. It puts it where it wants to put it. And this can be tricky if you're using... this can be tricky if you're using something like I am, like I've got OneDrive, so it moves my document files to places where you don't think they're... oh, no worries about assaulting the stream. It's fun. You guys are great. I love it when you guys come over. So you guys are too much fun, and I can't keep up with you guys. I mean, it's just I was seeing... I was at work today. I'm on a job site all day today down in DC, and I'm watching all the Discord notifications come by, and I was crying. I mean, you guys are just having far too much fun. So anyway, thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. If you're like me and you're using OneDrive and you say, okay, it's in Documents, and you go to Explorer and Windows Explorer and you jump into Documents, and here we go. We're looking for Ocean Swift. Well, there's no Ocean Swift here, and it's very specific. It does not follow that where you're. Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll get there. It's like I'm on too many Discords right now, and a lot of them are. Oh, thank you, Sam. Appreciate it. And thanks for coming by, Sam. Good to see you. So this is one thing I'm going to bring up to them. I need them to I'd like for them to honor the Windows user if someone's using something like OneDrive, because OneDrive puts things in a different folder in the Windows hierarchy. So I now have to go out here to the hard drive, to users, to me, to documents, to here, into wavetables, and here we have the wavetable that we created for tonight. So I'm going to stick that up there. And I'm going to bring the well, Paul, so I was over at the house the other day and I didn't get a chance to talk to you about it, but I saw a shelf load of trains on your wall there. So there's something behind that, but we'll talk about that later. Let's see, let me jump up in here. I'm going to open up the multipoly editor. And so to load a new wavetable into this is really simple. We go into the librarian, and then we have to make sure I remember how to do it. We go into wavetables here, and I should be able to say File, and see, this is where it gets wonky. You have to come in here. This is where it's a little wonky. So I'm just going to highlight one. Doesn't matter which one you highlight. I'm going to highlight this basic one. And then I'm going to do File and Import Wave as Wavetable. I'll go find the one that we just made and say Open. And so it says it's imported it. Now, what the instructions say is that there's this whole thing about saying, do you want to rename this or save over the one you've got? Just saw the HO. Exactly. So, there must be more. So I've said okay. And now if I scroll down to the bottom of the list, here's the one we just made. So I can come up here and I can get rid of this junk out here at the end of it. And I can go ahead and say, so I can find it later that I'm the author, and I put it in a collection called Garen M as well. No, I don't put it in one called Fred. Sorry, guys. I don't know what the categories I'm going to use for it yet. So that's all I really need to do there. Okay, so now that I have this here, I can go over to the editor, and let me shut off these layers. And go into layer D, and I can come up here and I can create now a wavetable synth based on that wavetable we just created by coming into digital. Under the wavetable, I just search for my collection, this guy here, and open it up. So now we've got, let's make sure the layer is going to play. Am I on the right thing? Oh, no, I'm on ZYKLOP. Let me get to over here to multipoly. Why is it not working? Making a liar out on me. Let's see, layer, oh, I gotta turn the layer on. There we go. Layer D, oscillator 1. All right, so we're obviously going to need to pitch that up to hear anything out of it. So now we've made a wavetable, and I can sweep through the position on that thing. I'm going to have to cross hands here. So that's how easy it is to bring your own wavetables into the multipoly and use it as a full wavetable synth. That same wavetable that we just created, I'll jump out of there. We can close this now. Get that out of the way. Bring live back up. So we've created that wavetable. If I come back to that wavetable and grab the one that we just created, I can dump that into ZYKLOP as an example. ZYKLOP has and Myth have two different resynthesis engines. This is their original one, which people said they didn't like because the resynthesized sound sounded nothing like what you fed into it. And so they came up with the resynthesized 2, which is more like the original sound. I thought resynthesized 1 was cool because it gave a much different. It resynthesized it differently and came up with some really cool sounds. So I'm just going to drop that on Resynth 1. It goes through its thing, and so now we have that instrument here. And let me get onto that MIDI channel. So we made that without, I've got stuff that I've played with and set up a sound or dropped this into an existing sound. Probably should have dropped it into a knit instead to see what we were really getting at. But that's, it makes custom wavetables easy. So the Ocean synthesis Wavetable Creator I have linked in the description for this show. It is available for sale. Again, I get nothing from them, from you buying it from them at this point, except to feel good. And but I think it's a great tool. I like it better than most of the other ones that I have fooled with. Because there are some free ones, but I like the way this works better. You get more interesting wavetables, and so building you can if you have Vital, you can draw wavetables in Vital. And there's a whole wavetable editor in there. There's a video, one of the live streams of the video, one of my videos some weeks ago or a couple months ago, whatever. I showed how to do wavetables in Vital, how to do your own. But this thing it creates as many variations as you want. Like I said, we just did the one, but we could have had it do 100 variations to play with, and we just did the one for the point of demonstration because I didn't want to be playing with it all night. But we've got this in here now, so that's it raw, and we're sweeping through it. The resynthesized version of it anyway. So in here there's all the things we can do. Let's see, we'll widen out the stereo field, and I want to take and put, I think this is the one to bring the octave up. Yeah. And all of these weird little controls here, and one of the nice things I really like about the way Dawson did this, you hover over a control, there's a description of what it does at the bottom down in this area by default. So, because a lot of the interfaces, it's a little cryptic. So we're working here just with the one iris as opposed to fighting with two. Yeah, but again, there's lots of iconography. Once you get, but again, you hover over this icon. It says this. This sets the starting position. So, because right now it's set at the starting position is at 0. If I hit the note, you see it starts top dead center and sweeps through. So each note starts there. I can say I would rather it start over here. So you dial that knob around, and now it starts over there on the side. And everything is modulatable. So I could take this and hit LFO, let's say LFO2. What the heck? Okay, whatever. Again, once you get used to it, once you start using it, and I don't use it enough, but once you start to use it, okay, I know that one start, and that one does the FM amount, and this one does the next thing, harmonic amount. So I can go here, I say I want LFO2 to drive that. I just turn it up, and I go in and see what LFO2 is looking like. So we go into mod, and LFO2 is going over there. You click on this, there's the LFO2. We can modify LFO2. So if we want some weirdo, wave shape for the LFO, we can set the rate and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, once you use it and learn it, it's easy to remember, just like anything else. So, I've got this set, it's bipolar, it's poly. I've got a rate, I'm not sure, it's 120 beats per minute rate. So let's sync it, and then set it to, 2 bars. So now if we play this, probably not the best way to do it. So you start to see how it's changed the way that the iris is played. Instead of just circling through it, we're now back and forth. Which for some wavetables makes a greater difference than with this one. And so, you know, we can, it's got all the regular synth stuff plus some weird stuff. So you can then take and morph the wavetable a little bit. So like in this case, it makes it sound more sawtoothy if you turn it up. So anyway, it's a fun synth to play with. This version is free, and so that's. I thought Jeff might be interested because I know he's been fooling with it. He's running out of time on the free trial for Myth. So you know, just grab this and fool with it. And if you decide to buy, great. If not, that's fine too. You know. So that's what that was all about. Let's see. Anything else? Look on the list of things to talk about. So that was pretty much it. Anyway, this Wavetable Creator is a lot of fun. There it goes. It does not. If you're running on Windows, it does not install in the normal. It does. There's no installer. At least the copy that I have. I don't know if the production/sale version runs a standard installer or not. Like I said, they sent me this, and basically when I unzipped it, there's an exe file that I run. So I don't know if the production for sale version has an actual installer or not. But I think the sale price is like $25. And this is what if you've looked at Porphyra, which is Ocean Swift's instrument for the latest version of Contact, and I've had it on the channel a couple of times. A few weeks ago. This is the tool that they use with. This is the same tool that they use internally to make their wavetables for their instruments, and they've gussied it up a little bit, made it more user-friendly so the general public. They've got some great videos on their channel about all the details about how to use it. But I thought it was interesting enough to talk about, and let's see over here. So this is Porphyra, and so this basically is a Contact instrument. It requires Contact 8, but it doesn't have to be the full version. It can be the free version, and so if I want to load that wavetable we just made into this, I just grab it from here and drag it onto the wavetable window, and there it is. And now if I set this guy up to the A side, and make sure that's set to play, it is going to the right place. I'll have to turn it up some, which I'll just do here. Turn it on. So it's interesting that this synth has interpreted that wavetable differently, and I think part of that has to do with the resynthesis engine in ZYKLOP. But so the same kind of things. How many point wavetable? So with most wavetable synths will figure out what it, or modern ones will figure out what it is that you sent it and do the interpolation to make it work. Exceptions are some older wavetable synths, but like I just took it raw and dumped it into the one that I made. I made it specifically using the multipoly specs, but I've now just dumped it into Porphyra and Contact. I just dumped it into ZYKLOP. So we can do up to 2048 with that Wavetable Creator. So you can do frame size of up to whatever, or you can have it make all the frame sizes and make a different version of each one. So I did 1024 because I knew that was the frame size for the multipoly. I did 100 cycles on that last one. I should have done 64, but that's fine. It figures it out. They figure it out. Modern synths will just figure it out. So the number of cycles you can do is up to 512. But I'm sure Box of Confusion will figure it out and will interpolate between to fill in the blanks. Go away. There we go. So and you can experiment with it. Sometimes those done wrong. Some of those the results get pretty interesting. I've noticed that with pigments. I've fed it the wrong thing, and the results have been really cool. So here we can morph through. And we can, modulate to heart's content. I could grab Vital, drop that in there, grab our wavetable that we just made, drop it in there. I can look at it in 3D there, so I can see what it looks like, and sweep through. So, well, and again, I don't know, different ones are going to interpret it differently, and again, I would say experiment, so it's just a fun, it's another fun tool to have in the arsenal, so that you can, make your own thing. But, we could go into, let me, So to do to do your own wavetable here, you just click on the pen tool, and it's kind of there's kind of a weird limited way of drawing your wavetables in here. You can, let's see, you can monkey with the grid size, and you get drawing weird things. So and you get to the start points and end points and all that kind of thing. Actually, may not be in the right mode. Get out of there. Doopy 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 doo. Yeah, I'm in a single wave. Okay. Interesting. Anyway, I find the wavetable editor in this to be difficult at best. I've kind of drawn this thing. And so that's the wavetable at one point, and now we can drag ourselves out here and create, and I click in here or right click in here, we create a keyframe, and then I draw a different one. And I have no idea what this is going to sound like, or if it could sound like garbage. I don't know. And then we'll kick out here and add the last keyframe. And I'll draw this thing. I close this, and now I've got this weird wavetable in here, like so. And we can play that. It's actually really loud. Still really loud. So that's another. I mean, you can do it in here. What I haven't been able to do is successfully export, or I won't say successfully. I'll say consistently export a wavetable from Vital to use in pigments or in in another synth. And so that's why that's to me the fun or the value to something like this. You know, I can now build a wavetable for any synth that I want to, any of my wavetable synths that I want to use, and just drop it in. You know, I could come out here to pigments and you know, use that same wavetable that we've now used in 3 other synths, and wait for it to load. There we go. And turn this to, it's a wavetable. Let's see if I remember how to, I haven't done one in here for a while. I think I just drag it in. There may be an import. Yeah, here we go. Just drop it. There it goes. You know, so now I've got it in here. Turn the volume down. So again, a versatile tool that works with everything, and that's what everything, pretty much everything that'll take a wavetable anyway. And that was kind of the value of it as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, that's that. That was pretty much all I had on the list for tonight. I'm still trying to remember what those things that I missed about the multipoly were. Next time when I'm fooling around and they come to my mind, I will, well, okay, so again, that's in there. That's the, you know, one of the cool things that's in this guy is I got the random, you know, and I can play it. I have to remember to turn it to the audio that I want to use. Oops, let's set it up a little bit. So that was pretty cool, you know, and so let's go ahead and make it. So we'll call it, I don't remember what I called the last one, but we'll call it live stream 1125B. And I will do this one as I'll do this one as a single. We're going to do frame size of 1024, and we'll do 64 cycles. Yeah. AAA 0001 final. And then the next one will be AAA 0001 final. So we've got it set up. We've got a file name. We're going to do the thing. We'll say make the single. Boom, it's done. So it's fast. That's another thing I really like about it. I mean, it's almost instant. If you do a whole batch, it takes a couple minutes. So I know where it is. It is there. There's the guy. Oh, I called the other one Stream Wave. Okay, whatever. Let's see. What synth do we want to put that in? Let's put that in the multipoly. So I need to fire the editor back up. And go to the librarian. And go to wavetables. And just pick one. And do, this is the kind of quirky thing, another one of the little quirks, but once you get used to it, it works. So file, import wave, tell it which one we want, which was this one. Ooh, didn't like that one for some reason. I wonder why. It's the first time I've had it happen. Use the same format, right? Let's try this just for fun. File. What wave is wavetable? Boom. I wonder if it didn't like the file name. Let's try something here. Oh no, I've done names with spaces before. Actually, I don't know if I did that into there or not. Let's take the space out and limit the file name length. Although I didn't have to do that before. And file, import. Doesn't like that one. I wonder why it doesn't like it. Let's see here. I did 1024. Oh, I know why. Gotta be 32 bit. I have to be 32 bits for the multipoly. Let me say okay. Really? What did I do wrong? File, import wave as wavetable. There we go. This guy. There we go. No, I will not be free on Saturday. I will be traveling on Saturday. Okay, so here we go. We got it. Let's do the name thing again, just so I can find it more easily later. Okay, and now we go over to editor. Still working in layer D. Find mine. That one. Okay, boom, there it is. Get myself there, I'm in the right place. So it's buzzing. There's lots of interesting stuff in that one. If you put them up, Paul, on YouTube and make them unlisted, and then you can send us the links to them. That way they can stay up there and no one else will know where they are unless they have the link. Oh, okay. So you're just doing have a premiere party and then they'll be up there. Okay, that's cool. So that's, that easy. And then I can take this guy and say I want to do this from, let's do it from, we'll grab, I'm not going to use the pitch envelope, so we'll use that. And I can do all the other thing too is, except for actually the import of the wave itself, I can do all of this. Yeah, I can do all of this from the front panel of the synth. It's all very easy to work with. So we can do that, and we'll bring that down, drag that over, and do that. Actually, let's do this. I have to set an amount. Actually, I have to tell this that that's what I want to do, and I set an amount. Yeah, that'd be a good thing to do. Set the start point down here. So anyway, so that's the one of the things that I think makes this guy, the Ocean Swift Wavetable Creator, a pretty useful tool. I've only had a couple hours to play with it, so I've not really gotten into what all of these little details do. But over on the Ocean Swift YouTube channel, there's a couple of videos where they go into a great deal of detail on this, and so a lot of fun. Like I said, that's linked below, and so that is it. And it is 10 o'clock, so I'm coming up on 2 hours. I need to run as well. I have another early day tomorrow. Hopefully we'll finish up the project that we started on today. Let me go to there. So from the disaster room, I think that's going to do it for me tonight. with things being a little flaky they were today, I'm probably going to dispense with the usual music out thing. I'm just going to go ahead, I'll run some drony stuff, and you know, pretty much call it a night. You turn the I shouldn't have closed that. Let me, oh, I know what I can do. I'll just reload the patch on the multipoly, and there we go. Automatically starts making the music again. Sort of. There it goes. All right, guys, thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. For those who came and hung out, and especially appreciate the SOR crowd coming over and doing the thing. Will, good night. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by, and hope everyone had a good time. For those watching later, we'll hit that guy again just so you know I get that message out, and we will be back in a week. I will be streaming on Cyber Monday, so once you've done, well, we could have a little party on Monday night, and everyone can come in and tell me what they bought for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. That should be fun. So anyway, thanks a lot, guys, and gang, for coming, guys and gals, and whoever was here. We do appreciate it. We will see you all in a week. Cheers.